Twitter is apparently worth just half of what Elon Musk paid for it, according to a leaked memo from the company. Since Musk's takeover, the company has seen ad revenue plummet and employee headcount slashed by more than half. We're joined by Yahoo Finance's own Dan Howley for the latest here. Dan, like $20 billion is what it's worth now versus the $44 billion. What happened?
Yeah, less than half is what we're looking at here. And, it really comes down to the number of companies that seem to be working with Twitter as far as advertising goes. And just, I guess, where people see the company at this point. Twitter is still very popular among a certain set of the population, celebrities, brands, journalists, thought leaders, people along those lines. But it's never going to be the TikTok or Facebook that it could have been, or maybe Elon Musk hopes it will be. But we're looking at this $22 billion, $20 billion valuation versus the $44 billion valuation. And I really think it comes down to just not enough advertisers jumping onto the platform, and no clear direction as to where the platform's going. There was talk originally about Elon Musk turning it into an everything app, similar to what we have in China with WeChat. But now, it just seems as though it's kind of floating along. They're trying to get their sea legs. They're talking about raising revenue through subscriptions, how, you need a subscription to use two-factor authentication now. For logging in, you need a subscription for the check mark, which is going to be reintroduced. And they're taking away check marks that were legacy check marks. So, it just seems like there's all these strange ways that they're trying to raise revenue. But the main source is still advertising. And if they can't get people to jump on, then that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe at some point they can build it into an everything app and do all this stuff. It's a question of how many people hang around, I guess, in the meantime. There are also some reports, Dan, of Twitter's source code being leaked to the public. Can you talk us through that? Like, for those of us who don't know this stuff, what does that mean? What's the significance of it?
Yeah, so the source code is incredibly important because it's basically the basis for the app itself and the platform. So, you get access to a source code. You can, kind of find your way through it, potentially get vulnerabilities or find vulnerabilities and then exploit them. But it's also, copyright material. So this is, Twitter's own proprietary source code. So if it's going out into the public, then that's a violation. That's why it was taken down by GitHub, where it was originally posted by a account called Free Speech Enthusiasts. And so that's, a significant problem for a company like Twitter when the source code is put out there. It's not all of the source code. It was just portions of it. We don't know how much was taken, if there's going to be future posts of the source code. But, we're also looking at Twitter potentially putting out the source code for its retweets and things along those lines. That's something that Elon Musk had brought up, saying, we want to kind of get this out there. It's too kind of heady. We want to cut down on kind of the bulk in it. And so that's what they're going to do. But, this is just a broader issue, I think, and part and parcel of the problems that we're seeing at Twitter. They have thousands of a few thousand less employees there, and that really, impacts the business all around. We've heard stability issues when it comes to the servers. We've heard about issues with employee satisfaction, people who want to leave or don't want to leave or are being asked to leave, and then cuts that are just seemingly happening out of nowhere. So yeah, it can't be a great place to work right now. And I mean, if you're an employee and you're supposed to be on watch for this, you likely have your hands kind of everywhere trying to sort a way through it. So I think this is something that we may continue to see with the company.
One of the common responses from users that are on the platform is just, okay, he's made all these cuts. The platform still operates largely the same way that I expected. However, they might not have been kind of subjected to some of the hate speech that ran abound or ran amok on the platform thereafter. Some of those cuts were made and Elon Musk took over. So I guess the larger question is, what ultimately is going to change about the experience from Elon Musk's perspective to make people want to pay for access or to pay for a blue check or to some elevated type of experience, knowing that the delta hasn't been that different?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the real question, right? Like, I'm not going to pay for a check mark. I don't care, right? I do want two-factor authentication. That's something for safety. But I don't care about a blue check mark. It doesn't say anything. You know, I think the problem with that, obviously, is what we saw previously when people were buying blue check marks and then, you know, going ahead and posing as other companies. That was clearly a problem for folks like Eli Lilly, where the price of insulin was discussed and it impacted the company itself and its stock price, you know, celebrities, things along those lines. So, you know, that's an issue and it's a separate issue. But yeah, I don't see much changes as you're kind of alluding to, Brad, where, you know, this isn't a different platform. It's the same thing that I've been using. I have no reason to want to use it more or less, maybe less, just because, you know, I mean, Twitter is Twitter and it's always been that way. But yeah, it's not anything particularly interesting to me. It's not TikTok where, you know, it's drawing these kind of, you know, interesting viral trends, or Instagram where you're seeing, you know, celebrities have these conversations or people sharing, you know, interesting educational things. It's just the same old Twitter basically. And yeah, to get to a $250 billion valuation is where he wants to get it eventually. I don't know how you do that at this point.
I mean, you know, you just throw out a number and you make it, you know, that it must be real since he threw it out there, right? That's the goal. Dan Alley, we'll see. Could happen. Stranger things have happened, maybe. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.